Hey guys, as you know, I am a newbie to the PoE universe. And with PoE 2, I am really excited. I am hyped, and we are going to blast PoE 2, of course. But I want for you to join me on this journey from being a complete newbie to learning the game. So I am going to just start with the basic stuff, and for that we have Zizaran in here in a video where he's going to explain everything that was revealed for PoE 2, and we are going to start from there, and then we are going to learn everything that we can before the launch, brother. So join me on this journey, but today we are going to learn what is coming with the game.
Hi, Zizaran here with another video about PoE 2, and wow, what an absolutely insane, amazing announcement. That was way better than expected, and just to start things off with a good thing, the clear speed looked really nice.
Yes, brother, I watched that stream, by the way. I watched that stream live. I was working, but I had it on my second monitor, and it was awesome, and I was like doing stuff, and I couldn't stop checking it out or whatever. There was a lot of stuff that as a newbie you don't completely understand, but there are like with the end game, there are people always say this stuff in the chat like, oh, this is like X thing, like this is devs, this is corruption, this is whatever, and I don't have a clue what that is, right? But in general, like the classes and the ascendancies and the skills, that is the part that you understand, and the bosses, and that looked awesome, brother. So I am hyped a lot. You guys know that I love bossing, and this game is putting a lot of focus on bossing, and that is what I like the most.
I asked chat very early, like, was it faster and better than you were expecting? And most people were like, yeah, I'm on the believer train now. So that's very cool. This is going to be a condensed TLDR of the Giga announcement. So if that's what you're looking for, this is the video for you. So where do we start? We are going to start at the end. So GGD at some point in development halted the progress of the campaign to begin working on the end game. And that's why Act 4, 5, and 6 is not done, because they felt like too many games lately have been coming out with not much of an end game. And that is what a lot of the long-time player base really prefers. So
wise decision. Wise decision, because now people are saying if they didn't release as much endgame as they are releasing, the game will still have a lot of hype. But this whole thing that people have been saying like, oh, D4 is dead because PoE is better or whatever, wouldn't be as much as it is right now, right? It is as it is because there is a lot of endgame. It will still be like, oh, PoE is good and D4 bad, because you can never escape that, but not as much. But with the amount of endgame they decide to release, now this is insane, brother. And I think it was a wise decision to do that.
Very good as a veteran of the game. They did confirm that Act 1 to 3 will be followed by Act 1 to 3 again in a cruel difficulty. So this is basically the same concept as New Game Plus. And the launch version will...
Some people were mad about that because, oh, you are repeating the campaign. But this is only for the early access while they are developing the other acts. But they said that once the whole 6 acts are complete, they are removing the repeating the first 3 acts, and then you go from Act 6 to the end game. Which again, wise decision. Wise decision.
Just have 6 acts. If you want a breakdown of simple systems we knew about before, we do have this previous video on PoE 2 that you can check out. But let's move on to the main content, which is the endgame, and there is a lot of it. We're going to cover other features that will get you there, like classes and systems, but the Atlas is infinite now. So we're calling it the Delve Atlas, and it's similar to Last Epoch, similar to Delve, etc. Not every map has a boss in it, and they require a waystone to open. Map bosses are usually campaign bosses with new and harder.
For example, I have seen or watched or listened to a lot of PoE stuff. I still don't have a fucking clue what a map is. And I know that I'm going to sound like an ultra noob, but it is because I am an ultra noob. I am under the impression that a map is something like a nightmare dungeon in Diablo 4, but I am not completely sure. That is what my gut feeling tells me, but maybe I am completely wrong, you know. So I'll have to wait and see, my dude.
Mechanics There will be different biomes. So we saw like snow, desert, etc. And there are a lot of different things there. So that looked really interesting. Obviously, we need to wait and see how it is. I'm not a big delve lover, so I might prefer the traditional PoE1 Atlas more than this, but I'm very open, right? So excited to see how this feels. Are you looking to gear up for the wave of next-gen ARPGs? This year is going to be insanely demanding on your system, but not on your wallet. Sure. Starforge has you covered with the Horizon line, with great computers for your everyday gaming.
Hey, Starforge,
for those looking
sponsor
for the
me, brother. I know that I don't have a lot of viewers.
If you want a solid
but I need a PC,
with a rock hard performance, look
I will
further.
I will sponsor you. I will
is definitely happy
promote your shit for a year just for one PC.
Give yourself an edge to blast through the golden year of
but I need the
by
PC,
heading over to starforgesystems.com and get yourself one of the best PCs in the universe.
Off with you. What's on your mind?
Consider that just one PC and I will promote your shit for a year.
Branching maps as well. So there's a lot of cool
things.
Help me out here. They're sort of like crafted maps, but more streamlined and rewarding. And dying will lose you the map entirely and block off that path. So maybe you can break parts of your atlas. Maps are random and they have randomized mobs and layouts, and they said 211.
As a newbie, when you hear that word, you get scared a little bit. Of course, I'm not scared of the game. That is one thing that as a newbie, in fact, I am going to make a video specifically about that to tell people to not be scared. That I am a newbie too, but I am not scared. It is a game, dude. Play the game, have fun. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. Who cares? This is not a big deal, right? But as a newbie, when they say that you can break something, you get like, oh, brother, I have to be careful with my choices. I don't want to break anything.
Notched up to 11, so a lot more randomized than what we're used to. There will be corrupted zones as well, so more things like Beyond and stuff. There will be towers that'll make your atlas a lot more self-sustainable. They'll like explore similar features to Last Epoch as well. They'll like reveal more stuff there. You'll be able to socket in tablets, craftable league specific items. So if you want more breach, you can focus on breach and you'll get a lot of breach. You'll get breach everywhere. That looks really spicy. Tablets are going to be the main way of progressing in league mechanic and reaching the pinnacle boss. And this is going to snowball and cause your atlas to have a lot more mechanics. So the way we have like an atlas map now, like there will be points like that for different mechanics. Like breach will have their own points, etc. So you'll be able to choose what you like and how you want to do things. So a lot of these are similar to scarabs in a way, and
what is
like
a scarab?
So sextants and scarabs are sort of a part of this. And if you're a new player and you aren't really familiar with what that is, it's just more ways of customizing the end game for you.
Okay, thank God that he's clarifying. He knows that there are a lot of people that are coming for the first time to the game like me, and we don't know any of these terms. So yes, more ways to customize the end game. That is awesome. I will probably try to customize everything for bossing at the start, because that is what I enjoy the most. But I believe that as I learn more the game, I will try other stuff too.
There is a pinnacle / uber boss at launch as well. It does sound sort of similar to D-Clone with, like, you know, it requires 3 keys. There's an actual big citadel, a big boss, and they haven't really said much about it. We don't know what the final boss is. Could be something with the beast.
Awesome.
Strongboxes are more difficult. They looked incredibly slow. First thing I was thinking when I saw that was like, well, I'm skipping strongboxes then. Shrines are a lot more intense as well. The essences are so great now. They're a lot more target farmable. For the league mechanics, we are losing Blight, it seemed like, but we are gaining, we are getting updated league mechanics and stuff, and they're sort of combining things. So we're going to go over that now. But there are sequels to the PoE1 mechanics in a lot of ways. Hopefully should fix a lot of the bloat in PoE1. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but the Atlas tree still exists, but it's more streamlined. And
please, as a newbie for the game, having less bloat is awesome for me, because there is less stuff that I have to keep track of.
They're going to expand upon it in the future. And engaging with the mechanics and higher difficulty parts will give you Atlas tree skill points. Ritual looks very similar to how it is already, but with proper instance for the King of the Mists, who is the pinnacle boss of Ritual. Omens have guaranteed crafting outcomes now, so they're like target prefixes or target suffixes. So we actually do have deterministic crafting still, especially combined with essences. Breach is more different. The rings are supposed to be the best rings you can get with like up to 50 quality on a ring. Breach stones seem different, and Zest Ula is the pinnacle boss. So that's sort of like a super Breach lord.
This is just one of the pinnacle encounters of PoE 2. We won't be
That
showing
looks
the rest
awesome,
of them,
brother. That
so
looks
you'll have to
insane.
decide
That is what I
for
want in a
yourself.
boss, brother.
Delirium,
Not this
Mirror
Lilith
Delirium is exactly
bullshit.
the same, but adding layers to your waystones should be more intuitive and easier. Simulacrum is revamped and is very meant as pinnacle content, and it sort of already is. Distilled Emotions, however, is replacing Annoyance from Blight. Expedition, probably my least favorite mechanics, but a very loved one by the community as a whole, and very similar to the way it is now. Same with rewards as well, so that'll probably be a very popular one. Olroth is the final pinnacle boss with unannounced rewards. Now, the Atlas passive tree seems to have a big emphasis on unlocking more points as your character is already doing endgame stuff. In PoE 1, you unlock it just by doing white maps and stuff, but here it seems more about when you're actually doing the endgame stuff. They even have a section dedicated to boss killing. That looks really exciting. And
Awesome.
yeah,
That
this
is
is
what I
probably
want the
something they're
most.
going to iterate on a lot and see how the community feels for feedback, and then, yeah, change that. Now,
I don't really know what you actually select in the Atlas. Again, I never interacted with that system. But I am guessing like you make it so like bosses drop more X stuff. That is what I think it is, right? You specialize your tree so you focus more on doing bosses. Again, in my first round, that is what I am going to try to do. Because I love doing bosses. And then we will see what happens, right?
we're going to talk about classes. So I've covered classes at a surface level before, but we got so much new information about ascendancies and stuff like that. Each class will have 3 subclasses, which are ascendancies, and the early game will only launch with 2 for each. So we're going to be getting that throughout the early access up to launch. Eventually we'll make another video talking in detail about the different ones, but let's do a quick rundown first. So classes and ascendancies are mechanically distinct, and they're often different gameplay archetypes. You'll be able to use every ability and stuff unless it's an ascendancy specific thing, but generally it's just more about like fine tuning, right? In PoE 1, being an Inquisitor would give you unique abilities like converting melee weapons to spellcasting, or in PoE 2 you can become an Infernalist and get a whole new mechanic through the fire gauge, replacing your mana entirely. So subclasses should feel very different in a way that PoE 2 does way better than PoE 1, I think. So we're going to have 6 classes at launch: the Warrior, Mercenary, Ranger, the Witch, the Sorceress, and the Monk, and all of these have 2 ascendancies each.
I will give you the rundown right now. Classes that interest me: Warrior, Mercenary, the Ranger, but not because of the Ranger, but because of the Pathfinder Ascendancy. And a little bit the Witch, because they have they can transform into a demon. That Ascendancy looks awesome. And the Blood Ascendancy also looks cool. But the Witch focuses a lot on minions. I don't like the minion part a lot. I will go, if I go Witch at one point, I will probably go with a more caster style. Now, the 2 that you have remaining are the Monk and the Sorceress. Those 2 classes are for pussies. You knew that I was gonna say that Sorceress is for pussy. And the Monk is looking pretty pussy to me. But we will see what happens. I will probably try them at some point, but that is my order of interest. Like Mercenary and Warrior at the top, I am still undecided. I am a little bit more on the Warrior side right now, but I could go Mercenary. Then the Pathfinder, it is tied to the Ranger, but well. And then the Witch, because of the Demon form, and at 400 kilometers of dog shit, and there you have the Sorcerers and the Monk.
I really want to try the Vampire Lord, whatever she was called. It looks so cool, but also like the totem stuff they were showing off looked really safe for hardcore as well. So both of those looked they showed off a lot of cool things, and like
Brother, Path of Exile 2 looks like again where you wanna learn all the bosses before going hardcore. Because a mechanic that you don't know can surprise you and just kill your character. So Path of Exile 2 looks like a game where you clear the game on softcore, you see the mechanics of the bosses, you learn them. Well, now I am going hardcore because it is a waste of time losing your characters to mechanics that you don't know are coming. And it doesn't mean you are bad or whatever, you just don't know. Right? And imagine you have spent like 30 hours on your character, some crazy mechanic comes out of a boss, one shots you, and you lost your character. Pain in the ass. And then you have to go through the whole thing again so you can even try the same mechanic. It is insane. It is insane. I think Queen is going to Rodog hardcore first try blind. Good luck, my dude. Good luck. All my best wishes to you, my dude, because that is insane.
There was whatever the Ascendancy was called with extra sockets and stuff. Very interesting concept. And speaking of ascending, how do you ascend in PoE 2? Well, obviously the lab has had a lot of backlash in PoE 1 and a lot of people don't like ascending through the lab. So they're actually giving you multiple choices in...
Don't know what the fuck the lab is. So if they are improving that because people hated it, fine by me because I don't even know what that is.
PoE 2. They basically have a new form of lab with combining with Sanctum, and it literally looks like they've just taken the Sanctum mechanic and this is how you ascend. And on top of that, you also basically can do a revamped version of Ultimatum, and that is an alternative version to Ascend. It does not look very much like Ultimatum. It does look sort of more like mapping with some challenges added in, like you're being attacked by lightning and stuff like that. And I think they said that a third option will be available too. So anyway, we have more options available for ascending. So you can sort of customize how you want to do it. Now, the last trial for your Ruby Ascendancy is probably going to be slower as they are unlocked in the end game. We don't really know how that works yet. But we do know the Uber trial will probably contain a pinnacle boss they will have to defeat. Endgame trials like Ultimatum or Sanctum will have their own progression systems like inscribed ultimatums or relics that you can craft. Now for itemization, a big worry I had about PoE 2 with itemization being so different, with reroll currency being less common, you know, since the crafting bench is gone, it would become stale or bland. But they're adding runes, which sounds very much like runes from Diablo 2, sort of like gem things too. Special enchants that go in gear that has sockets in it, and you can get sockets by volleying. It sounds so much like Project Diablo 2, and I'm so excited for stuff like that. I think I really hope we'll have like a lot of uniques will be like that, where you kind of want to volley a lot of things. I love volleying. There will be an enchant on top of your 6 affixes, and they're meant for you to be a little bit more flexible in how you fix different problems in your gear, so shifting resistance stuff around should be a lot more convenient. And you can also salvage items with sockets for currency to add sockets in to fit the runes. So a lot of new things here. And obviously you can salvage gear as well for more orbs to craft with. And they said you're going to be dropping a lot of chaos and exalts during the leveling even. So we're going to be crafting a lot more gear, it seems. Now, there's no need to be scared. This is just jeweler orbs with extra steps because adding rune sockets is guaranteed. Items will only have 1 socket, with bigger items like armor and 2-unders having 2. And I think you could Val orb for 3. Disenchanting gear will give you direct control of what kind of crafting currency you will get as well. But essences could also work like regals now. So if you have a blue item with, like, let's say life and resist, it looked like you could regal a specific thing, like regal a fire stat. So probably fairly deterministic crafting.
What the fuck is regal?
Now, a cool thing with all the new changes is obviously like you don't have to 6-sync gear. So if you find a chest that's an upgrade, you have an upgrade. They've also repurposed currencies from other endgame mechanics. So Breach will have Catalyst to improve qualities on our rings and amulets. And they can go... We saw a ring with 170 life, and apparently that's going to be insanely strong. Rituals contain omens, like we said, with like target prefixes or target suffixes. And we'll have Anoint still. And again, we don't fully know what Expedition will give us, but probably very similar to current stuff.
I am such a noob that I don't know the difference between a prefix and a suffix. I know that both of them are stats or modifiers or stuff that your iron does, but what is the difference? What makes a suffix and an affix or a prefix a prefix? And I am not talking about English rules in here. I am talking about the effects on the item.
For attributes, gear no longer rolls attributes, which means you'll have fewer affixes to worry about to make your build work. It seemed like affixes are mostly on gems and how much you upgrade those with support gems. And we're very flexible now with travel nodes being exactly what you want them to be, right? You can choose dex, strength, or int. Jewels as well, basic jewels are still in the game. They should be a lot more accessible socket-wise. They're sort of on the way. And there's timeless jewels, which is a new take on Legion jewels, and they have like a percentage to anything in the radius. So instead of something being like 20% pierce, it might be 30% pierce if a jewel is touching it. And Valorbs have a lot more outcomes, like I said, such as adding rune sockets, adding new enchants, and I'm just such a huge fan of Valorbs. I'm so happy that it's in there. And honestly, I was not expecting this much stuff. I was already expecting a lot of stuff, and it just went above and beyond.
I have to say that the crafting looks really cool, and I love that crafting is such a big part of itemization, because at least I think so. I don't know if this is actually the case with crafting in PoE. Remember, I'm a newbie, but to me, crafting offers like a path, a deterministic pathway to get the item that you want. Like, you know that through crafting, you can eventually get your item, right? And I love that. I love that. Even if it has some kind of RNG in your rolls when you are crafting and stuff, you know that with enough currency and with enough farming and with enough trying, you will eventually have it. While with the whole RNG from drops, you don't know if you will get it, right? So I love that. I love that, if that is the case.
And it's just, what an absolutely amazing announcement. I saw very few people not pugging out, and I asked like how many people were very skeptical of PoE2, and it's turned around now, and most people said yeah. I think that was really cool. I always thought I'm so insane. Excited for December 6th, and it's so great that it was all blind, because there's been a lot of games, notably Diablo 4, that have like these large early accesses for content creators where you play before the game is out.
This take completely.
That kind of sucks in my opinion, because you have to say yes as a streamer, and we didn't have that for GGD, so we got to experience everything for the first time. And nice. I'm so excited for December 6th. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your favorite part. I'm running a Twitter giveaway for 5 keys, so you can enter that on Twitter if you want. But either way, thanks for watching. So if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.
Nice. That was an awesome video, sis. That was an awesome video. Of course, a lot of stuff is for people that know PoE. And I know nothing. But he also explained some stuff for the absolute newbie. So it was cool, brother. Thank you very much for summarizing in short what happened in the big stream. That stream was insane, brother. So yes, my dude, thank you very much.